Is your Gunpla just not fabulous enough? Don't worry, I've gotcha. Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to yet another Gunpla review, and today I'm taking a look at the high-grade build custom build hands. That's both the edge style, which is the square ones, which are your typical Gundam or Federation mobile suit style blocky hands, as well as the build hands round. Of course, these are your more rounded Zeon-esque hands, usually reserved for the bad guy mobile suits. And of course, as high-grade Gunpla comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter which ones you use. It really does come down to what you want, how accurate to the anime you want it, or just whatever style and size fit your tastes. So that's enough of an introduction, let's get right into checking them out. Once again, as usual, if you want any of these of your own, then check out that link down there in the description and get yours at HobbyLink Japan. Now on to the review. So first off, we're going to take a look inside the build hand's edge. Of course, once again, this is the Federation Square standard Gundam style hand, and what we get in here is this runner. We actually get two of these. And on this runner, we get 18 hands. So that's left and right of the 6 small, the 6 medium, and the 6 large. And like I mentioned, we get 2 runners of these. So there's the ones here on the runner, and this set I've already thrown together. So all in all, in this box, we get 36 hands, which isn't bad. So instead of going through all the hands of each size one at a time, I'm actually going to go through each of the types size by size. For example, in here we have fists, holding hands, and widespread. To model these bad boys, of course, it's going to be the man of the hour, Gundam 00 Sky, and I'm going to put each pair from small, medium to large on this guy so you can get kind of a feel for the size, and then try some on other Gunpla. So I'm going to start with the fists from small to medium to large. So first off with the fists, I will mention that the small, medium, and large, they're all the same exact design, just scaled up. Of course, the bigger ones look that little bit more detailed because they're big, but as for what we're starting with right here, these are the small fists. So the small ones do definitely look a little bit small on the 00 Sky, but the first thing that I feel is a little bit negative that stands out to me is the massive length on the wrist section there. They stand out a good 2 millimeters from the actual wrist. This right here may or may not be to your own particular liking. I guess it all comes down to your own preferences, but to me I prefer it to be a little more flush to the wrist. But I will mention right here that these are more of an advanced fist than what you'd get in your standard high-grade pack. And what I mean by that is the ones that are included with the Gundams themselves. This has a joint in the wrist, so these can be posed around quite well, and this might be part of the reason they have that extended wrist. Maybe. All in all, it is nice to see some fists without a big hole in them, so these are pretty cool. Alright, so let's pop out the small ones and pop in the medium ones. So these right here definitely feel more up to scale with the Gundam 00 Sky. At the same time, I will mention that those wrists aren't as long seeming, so that may just be a thing on the smaller ones. But all in all, these are exactly what we saw before, just at a bigger size. The same articulation is present here, and all in all, these are awesome. Finally then, swapping out from the medium-sized ones to the large ones. So once again, the design is exactly the same, the articulation is exactly the same again. Unlike the small ones, once again, the wrists aren't as long seeming here. These are definitely a bit on the big side for the 00 Diver, but again, that may come down to your own personal preference. Maybe you want him to look like he packs one hell of a punch. But all in all, these are pretty cool, but might look a little bit better on a bigger, beefier Gunpla. So next up then we have the holding hands, and no matter what size you're talking about here, they all have the same size hole. So there's a quick look once again at 00 Sky with the small set, the medium set, and there's the large set. However, one thing I will mention about these particular hands is, as you can see, the back section there doesn't actually line up with the fingers. This mightn't bother you so much, you might think that looks fine, but to me it just looks a little bit odd. Lastly then are the widespread open hands, and once again there they are in the small, the medium size, and the large size. Looking pretty cool. So moving on to the next set, which is the build hands round. So I'm going to do it a little differently this time around, using a small, medium, and a large Gunpla. I think it'll be better than on the same one again and again. So we're going to start off with the fists, with the Leo. Before that, however, I will mention that once again the runner is basically the same. We do get 2 of these. Just this time around, the fingers and the back of the hands are rounded out in that Zeon style. So here are the ones that I finished earlier. Uh-oh, these don't actually fit. So yeah, don't use these with your Leo. They will stretch out the joint and stress the plastic. So yeah, these are not a one size fits all. Ooh, that's a little bit loose now. Yeah, don't do that. So for both the small and the medium, I'm going to be using the Gundam The Origin Zaku 2. So let's try them out. So without a doubt, these definitely look a little bit on the small side for the Zaku, but just like with the last square set, these look really nice. We've got that rounded back, rounded fingers, and of course that joint in the wrist, so you can get a lot of expressive poses out of these. So anyway, there is the small size, the medium size, and the big, huge, large size. So on the box, it does recommend using the larger ones with the high grade Sazabi. I don't have the high grade one, but do these hands work with the real grade? Let's find out. So let's pluck out that hand, take that massive fist. The ball on the Sazabi does look a little bit bigger, so maybe it won't fit. Not a hope. So moving on to the holding hands, and again, there's that fairly standard hole size there, but again, not everything's gonna fit. But thankfully, Bandai have been standardizing a lot of their designs lately, so I think most things, at least anything recent, should fit. But anyway, there's the small ones, the medium ones, and finally the big ones. And once again, you can see the fingers don't necessarily line up with the back part. Again, no big deal, but if you're a bit of a perfectionist and don't want something like this, it's just something worth noting. So finally moving on to the widespread hands, and we're going to use these on the Garibaldi remake. There are the small hands, which look a little bit on the ridiculous size on a mobile suit this big. The little ones, which don't look too bad. And finally, there are the big ones, and it's on these that you can really see that detail. These look really expressive and just look pretty damn cool. So that is it for my review of the Build Hands. These are definitely awesome little kits. If you're ever customizing your kits, whether you're planning on going full haul to a complete and utter full custom, or just looking for something to jazz up your kits a little bit, this is something that is pretty much perfect. Honestly, you do get a whopping 18 pairs of hands in this box, so that is not something to sniff at. To me, it's worth it just for the fists and the open hands, but I guess the holding hands are handy as well. But anyway, if you do want some of your own, as usual, you can check out that link down there in the description. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time.